7 is going for number 8 tonight.
James Stewart goes for 8 in a row right now on speed. Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship inside the brand new Lucas Oil Stadium. Big crowd on hand here in Indianapolis as we are in the heartland for the first time. Shaheen and Jeff Emmick Speed Zone Supercross Series champion here as we get set for heat number 1 of Supercross. Aaron Bates with us as well, covering all the action down on the floor. Brian Villapoto on the number 2, Monster Energy Kawasaki, lined up right alongside the Honda Red Bull number 9 of Ivan Tedesco.
Villapoto had a very strong ride last round. He's looking to get up on the top spot of that podium yet. He's got to get through the qualifiers, which he failed to do one time this year, so he's already learned that lesson.
The Yamaha starting grid at the top of your screen. 9 riders will transfer out of here. Davey Millsaps, Josh Hill, Tim Ferry, all in this one. And don't forget, Millsaps has won in Indianapolis on the smaller bikes in previous years. Twice. Over the old RCA Dome.
Twice, yeah. He really has a good feeling from this city, racing here, you know, in front of the fans here from Indiana. So let's see if he can apply it here tonight.
Here we go. Heat 1 about to get underway. With the whole shot, no surprise there. Ivan Tedesco gets stuck in the back of the pack with a couple of other riders. Sipes on the 71 with a good start. Here comes Villapoto up the inside to take over second. And it looks like Tim Ferry trying to get in there for third. He does.
Great
Michael Lessie.
Yeah,
wow.
Once again, Michael Lessie on the gas. Tommy Hahn in second. I'm sorry, third.
Actually, I thought that was Ferry. It's actually the 48. Millsaps right behind him.
Stacked heat races. There is so much talent in Supercross. Off the top 3 in the in the qualifying heat, and you can see this track here, not your typical Supercross track. This track was one of our guest designers, Mike LaRocco, Indiana native. Won numerous Supercross events in his racing career. Put his own twist onto this track here, and it's the riders have really liked it, but it doesn't have the same flow as your typical Supercross track, but it's really given the riders you know, a different sort of challenge than what they're used to.
Big sand section here as well. You see another rider down at the far end. Here's Millsaps.
Followed by Kevin Windham. Starting to step it up here. Windham running in.
Supercross heat number 1. Michael Lessie leads. We'll be back to see if he can beat Villapoto to the checkers. Welcome back to Indy. These folks enjoying a tremendous battle between Ryan Villapoto and Michael Lessie for the lead in Heat 1. And look at this. Millsaps has caught these two as well. So it's 3 riders for the lead. And here comes Villapoto through the loop section. Over the big wall. Bar to bar as they come to the corner. And Alessi starts to pull away over that big double jump.
Villapato's got the line.
It could be a better line for sure, but Alessi beats him to the corner. Over the Dragon's back.
So Villapoto is in the sandwich here. That's a tough position because that allows the inside to leave it open.
Just like that, and Millsap slides by on the Honda. And Windham starts to reel the pack in as well. We could have 4 riders as they blitz through the sand. Millsap's tapping the tough block.
Same section that Villapoto did the lap before, but Millsap, last few weeks, he really has got the bike and everything dialed in. I'm telling you, Villapoto. Oh, here comes Millsap.
Millsap's through the whoops. Big handful of throttle. He's got the lead as they go over the wall.
Boy, and that has been a tough section for Alessi in his Supercross career, is through the whoop section. Nobody knows more about that than I do. But I'm telling you, Alessi, great starter. He's been hanging on. His heart rate has to be maxed out at this point because he is right in the thick of it.
Villapoto was trying to make a run at Alessi as well, and I'm telling you, Jeff, Wyndham is right on these three. We're going to have 4 riders battling for this win in heat number 1. Top 9 transfer onto the main. Remember, those are the names in green. There you see Alessi, number 8. Love that shot as they fly over that jump right there. There's Cody Cooper struggling on the number 21, Joe Gibbs Racing entry. Villapoto trying to get the outside line.
Well, you can see this finish line jump. It is so tight. There's a little set.
Whoops. And Alessi kind of forces him wide, Jeff, and off the throttle.
I'm telling you, Alessi is going to the left-hand side through the whoops, and he's jumping through the whoops. The other riders are skimming it on the middle to right side. Alessi gives it up coming out of the turn. Boy, at the end, he really has got some speed. That's the section where these riders are counting. Oh, and here he
comes again. Trying it again, trying to get to that inside. Meanwhile, look who's looming in the background, the number 14 and Kevin Wyndham. If these two get together, it's going to open the door for Wyndham to slide by.
More yellow flags. Everyone makes it through clean.
That kind of gave a little breathing room to Alessi. Wyndham takes a different line coming into that finish line jump. Here comes Villapoto through the whoops. Second place is his, but for how long? Oh, they both single over the double jump.
Very cautious, both riders very aware of that double jump, that if one jumped into the other, both riders,
it would have been disastrous.
Ironically, which doesn't happen too much in Supercross, they both take the safe line and don't double, and that allows Wyndham to just close right up on this pack.
More importantly, it has allowed Millsaps to pull away from these three. Millsaps going on.
That was an interesting, maturity with both of these riders.
Oh, that's not the look at the contact there. Big contact as Alessi had to defend himself because Villapoto came screaming into the corner. Villapoto with a great run through the whoops again.
So scratch my maturity comment. That's out the window. The white flag's out. Villapoto wants this. Alessi wants to hang on. He's not giving an inch.
But, Jeff, I think Villapoto's best shot is through the whoops. We're already past that section.
This right-hander, it's a left and then a right. That's his spot, but he's not close enough. And remember, the Villapotos and the Alessis, they have history.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Final lap.
How about Alessi, though, man? He is really on it here with the lap to go.
Alessi making a great run.
He's even caught Millsaps.
We might have a battle for the lead coming to the finish. To the checkers. Millsaps takes the win. Alessi's going to take second. Villapoto gets third. And K-Dub, Kevin Wyndham, will take fourth.
Wow.
Whoa. Great heat race.
Maybe that's why they call it the heat. They're heating it up here in Indianapolis.
And look at Alessi and Villapoto talking about it, but they shake hands. But the man who's going to the podium is Millsaps. Here's a nice shot of downtown Indianapolis in the Lucas Oil Stadium, where inside these fans have been treated to a great opening ceremony and a fantastic heat number 1. We're going to grid up number 2. We'll drop the heat race gate for that one as well. Opening ceremonies thrilling the crowd. Chad Reed being introduced. Great time so far here in the Circle City of Indianapolis. Here's a good-looking outfit, Fro.
How about that?
That'd be good for you.
For Halloween.
Yeah. Let's show you the results from heat number 1. Wow, you see Tim Ferry, Tedesco, and Byrne, all these guys transferred through, but that battle for those top 4 positions was so good. Never really had a chance to go back down there.
I mean, this heat was stacked all the way through to Matt Bonney there on the Butler Brothers Honda, getting the final transfer position, and Marsack onto the LCQ.
But Davey Millsaps gets to talk to Aaron.
It's all about survival on a track like tonight. And Davey Millsap's made his way up here, taking that heat race win. But Davey, you are wincing in pain coming up here. What is it that's going on?
Oh, you know, I had my stomach problem again that race. It happened about halfway through the race, but you know, it's my mechanic Carlos, my trainer, my fiance, everyone, and hopefully I can get my stomach right before the main.
Great job out there. Congratulations on your heat race win.
Let's show you our Toyota moving forward schedule as soon as we're done here in Indy. Yeah, we're headed to Bike Week.
Oh,
Daytona, right around the corner. Then on to the Superdome, St. Louis, Toronto. A lot of great racing coming your way. Come on out and join us at the track. Go to www.supercrossonline.com, get your tickets, and come out to the races. 30-second board is up. Getting ready for heat number 2. James Stewart, Chad Reed, another stacked heat, but just one rider not in this one. Jason Champ was going to make his Supercross debut this season, was unbelievably fast in practice.
He looked phenomenal.
But he's sick. He's not going to be able to make it.
Qualifying practice, he really impressed me. That shows me that he can step up to this class next year, but not going to be in the race here tonight.
Chad Reed, James Stewart are, however, as we get set to drop. First corner. Boy, they really stacked it up in there. And it's the 9. And look at Reed and Stewart battling now for 3rd. Stewart inside of Reed.
Once again, Ralph, Moto Concepts Honda guys really getting off the gate here.
Stewart trying to force his way past as quick as he can. It looks like Robert Canary is into the lead now.
Yeah.
Here comes Stewart. He's around Coisy, and he's setting sail after the one with Stewart, trying to keep that pace.
What a great experience this is for Bobby Canary on that Cernix Kawasaki. Just a great effort by this team, but how about the whoops? Stewart's always the fastest guy. Can he hold on?
But look at Reed! Reed to the inside, what a move! Chad Reed with an incredible move!
Goes from 3rd to 1st.
Listen to that crowd cheering the move by the Australian rider, Chad Reed. Just a spectacular move. And that's the kind of thing that's going to give him a huge shot of adrenaline. And maybe Reed can show the backside to Stewart for a while.
How about this is one of the matchups that we've been waiting for since Anaheim won, when they both crashed in the main event. Right now, Stewart just gets totally shocked by Chad Reed, makes the move on Stewart, and
here is the spot where it was all set up, the whoops, and look at Reed get through. And Jeff, the back end of that Yamaha for Stewart dancing around a little bit through those whoops that time.
But on the track, anytime that they're on the track, Reed makes a mistake.
And Stewart to the inside with a handful of throttle. Stewart has a spot, Reed back motorboard. And Stewart takes the lead away. James Stewart puts the move on Chad Reed, and now Reed tries to battle back. Heat number 2 is underway in spectacular fashion here in Indianapolis. Stay with us to see if Reed can catch Stewart again. Back to Lucas Oil Stadium, where James Stewart completes another lap with Chad Reed glued right to the backside of that San Manuel Yamaha. The gap between the two, 1.2 seconds, as they fly over the big wall. Robbie Canary had the lead early on tonight, but watch what happens to the monster Cernix Kawasaki rider, number 52.
Well, it's Ben Coisy is what happens to him, and then he gets pushed off the right. You can see the tough blocks over here. Canary just getting down. You see him grabbing his left shoulder also. Coisy probably got the end of his handlebar into Canary's left shoulder.
Over the upper plate with the number 1 on it because he is the reigning champ, a 2-time series champion here. Monster Energy Supercross. Stewart, champion back in 2007.
Well, then you can see by the lap times how James Stewart has pulled away. 48.9 for Stewart last lap around. Chad Reed, a 49.7. That's almost a second.
Here's how Stewart got the lead.
Pass for the lead. Chad makes a slight mistake, leaves the door open. Stewart waltzes through.
I thought maybe Reed was going to be able to battle back, but he had to take that outside line that next corner. That changed the game. Stewart now working his way around on the final lap.
Well, Stewart just been he is just flawless. Even in all of that commotion and all that excitement, Stewart kept calm, taking the lead in the heat.
9 heat races for James Stewart this year, 9 straight victories. He's done it again here in heat number 2 in Indianapolis, and Chad Reed has to settle for second. Well, 2 heat races and 2 great races. James Stewart wins this one. Andrew Short worked his way up to 3rd. Coisy had the lead early on, drifted back to 4th, but he gets a transfer spot. Josh Grant really struggled in that heat, but he's in the
pressure on his back for sure. That was Chad Reed, sort of right behind you. James, good catch, by the way. James, take us through. You had mentioned about this track and how much you actually like this track. Did you have to change anything on your bike in order to adapt to tonight's track?
Well, we changed a couple of tire setups, and you know, I struggled a little bit in that heat race, but man, that was since man, it's been so long. So got to get the boys up, same old Yamaha. We're gonna go back and try to fix a few things and see what happens.
These guys are having fun tonight. Something tells me we might have a battle on our hands heading into the main event.
Boy, that'd be great. Tuesday night on Superbikes, Josh Hill and Robert Canary, the final 2 riders to get their tickets punched for tonight's main event. A press conference was held earlier this morning previewing this summer's AMA Motocross Series.
The Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is a 12-round series that stretches from California to New England with stops in between at some of the most famous motocross tracks in America.
Well, I think any motocross fan, when you're growing up, you always think about how cool it would be to have Monday Night Motocross or something like that. And we were shooting for that, but we actually ended up doing better. So we're very proud and very pleased with partnering with Lucas Oil to get this done. Every motocross fan in America is going to be happy.
It is with those fans in mind that series promoter MX Sports announced an unprecedented package of television coverage. Broadcast partners Speed and NBC will team up to offer live coverage of 6 rounds of the Premier Class, as well as 6 same-day shows to air on Speed.
Well, I think the Pro Class delivers a great entertainment package. It's good, strong competition, and it has a large, not only domestic but international fan base, and that's what we're trying to reach with our marketing efforts at the Pro Class level, and motocross offers that. It's very strong in Europe as well as domestically in the United States, so it fits perfectly with what our marketing objectives are.
I've always heard it said that no sport can be major league until it's live on TV. With the help of Speed and NBC, we're going to have 6 shows that are live this summer, which is great development for motocross. If you're a fan of the 250 class, there's a nice package coming together with that as well. Every Tuesday on Speed, you get to see the rising stars of the sport, so it's going to be a good package.
Stay tuned for more programming updates as the season approaches. It all kicks off May 23rd in San Bernardino, California. There's a good look here at Lucas Oil Stadium. What a beautiful building the Indianapolis Colts have to play football in, and we've got to go racing in. We're coming right back to Indy for the main event. All over this place. Of course, Lucas Oil, a big sponsor of the stadium. Here, there's a funny car, sprint cars in the corner. It's awesome. Football, racing, and of course, Supercross, all in the same building. Here's our main event close up. 20 riders for 20 laps. Millsaps and Stewart, the heat race winners. Yeah, James was fastest, but Jeff, the defending winner from a year ago, the guy that won the last race at the RCA Dome, Chad Reed, gave Stewart some fits.
Yeah, he's got some speed tonight. Stewart was just a little bit quicker. Reed really is going to have to go after it if he wants to win tonight in the main event.
Now, I think the racetrack we have here has provided some great racing tonight.
First turn has been interesting. The rhythm sections have been interesting. I'm telling you, there's been a lot of trouble for riders as this is a very unorthodox style track, a little bit choppy. It's been great for racing. The fans have absolutely loved it. And speaking of rock star Makita Suzuki, we're going to go on board with Michael Byrne here. That's just past the finish line, through the whoops. Over that single. Now this is the first turn area, which is going to be critical for the start. Then you get into the first rhythm section. There's a couple of different ways to do this. I'm not convinced that one way is better than the other than just hitting it perfect, not making any mistakes. Some riders can carry some speed over that dragon's back. That's a section where you can really make up time. Then there's this next section. See, this is early in qualifying practice. Michael goes outside, does the triple-double into the main triple. Track has changed quite a bit as you see him going through the sand section. Like I said, this was earlier in the day. The track has worn in quite a bit since then. There's a big triple on, well, you would triple onto that tabletop and scoot off in a very tight S-turn into the finish line. So all in all, the track has been exciting. We have a packed house here in Indianapolis, and we are loving it. This is set up to be a fantastic main event.
And maybe, as the 30-second board is up, maybe the best shot for somebody to steal one out from underneath James Stewart and bring that streak of 7 in a row to a stop. There is James, the San Manuel backed machine ready to go.
They're going to have to beat James Stewart to the first turn. His starts this year have been awesome. He has been out of the gate with so much determination and desire. That's where he's been winning the races.
Here we go from Indy. Guess what? Chad Reed beats him. Chad Reed with the early lead. He gets the whole shot. Stewart's in third. Michael Lessie jumps into second place. Now, can Reed hang on? The two Rockstar Makita Suzuki's running 1 and 2. Stewart gets past Alessi now. And Wyndham is up into the front, battling on the number 14, sitting in fourth.
Well, this is what the fans of Indianapolis have been looking for. Chad Reed with a start. It's going to be an all-out drag race to the finish. Let's see if this is the motivation that Chad Reed needs to get all the way or to take that win by
Alessi back. He gets back inside of Stewart, and then James counterattacks, and Wyndham comes by Alessi as well. So Kevin Wyndham now moves up to third and fifth. Wyndham going for only his second podium of the year. Hasn't seen a podium since Anaheim 2, where he finished in second. And the one thing we know, Jeff, is James Stewart will not panic. The first lap Chad Reed has led since the opening race of the year in Anaheim 1. It's a long time coming. Took all the way to round number 9.
And I'm telling you, this is where the mental strength comes into play. Can Stewart keep his cool? Is that going to be a distraction for James Stewart, who really has, like I've said, he's been riding 100% of the day on his terms, leading qualifying practice, leading the heat race, leading the mains. Right now, Chad Reed is phenomenal lap times. Last time around, a 49.6. Stewart, a 49.8. So Chad Reed, at this moment, the fastest rider on the planet.
And guess what? Stewart is down. James Stewart is down. He's back up. He's on his bike. He's dropped to fourth behind Wyndham and Alessi. Make it fifth. Holy cow, watch this.
Watch this. He comes in a turn, grabs a handful of front brake, loses traction on both tires. That's what I was talking about, Ralph. Is that pressure? Is that pressure with Chad Reed out there going to force James to lose his concentration and overcompensate? Now the pressure's on.
Jeff, I was right the first time. That's actually fourth. Now he's going for third. Here he comes, battling with Alessi. Cuts to the inside of the finish line, jumping, muscles his way past. Oh boy, James Stewart. This is, Jeff, I love watching it when James Stewart has to come back through the pack. He is such a fearless rider and so fearsome on that machine when he's got to get to the front. It's some of the most exciting times, if you're a fan of James Stewart, to really watch when he has to push the bike.
And Ralph, hit me with
He doesn't win. If he doesn't crash, he wins every time.
100% of the time. Just an incredible record for James Stewart. Yeah, but as you can see, top of the screen, lap 4 of 20. There's a lot of racing left. And remember, Chad Reed has to execute 20 perfect laps if he wants to win, so we're not going to give this away just yet.
That's right. Here comes Stewart. He's got Kevin Wyndham in his sights. Into the sand section, into the whoops. The gap between Reed and Stewart, the double.
Wyndham pushes him wide, holds a nice line there. Stewart through the rhythm section, tries to scrub, get it.
Kevin Wyndham will not ride you dirty. Kevin Wyndham won't ride you dirty, but he'll push the effort. Look at this. Stewart inside now. He's got the move on Wyndham. James is back up to second place.
Chad Reed putting in some phenomenal rides, but the pressure, Stewart puts a top block.
That's the kind of thing you got to be careful of, Jeff. He can't afford another mistake like that.
I'm telling you, though, if anyone can do it, it'll be James Stewart.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
Maker, they are more than prepared for these types of races where he has to give it 110% for 20 laps, okay? Physically, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Right now, it's going to be about keeping your cool, riding the best laps you can, and you'll see Stewart take a look ahead, trying to find out where Chad Reed is.
Watch the problems that Wyndham had after Stewart got around for second.
Gets a mouthful of sand right here, and see that tough block come out. Wyndham goes right over the top of it, and I tell you, that is just a roll of the dice. You have no idea what's going to happen when you hit those tough blocks. Sometimes you get over them clean, sometimes you just go flying off the bike.
There's the reigning champ, and there you see Stewart in the background. Chad Reed, he has got about, waiting for Stewart, 6.3 seconds between him and the 2007. Oh, Stewart! Again, he almost makes a massive mistake, but what an incredible save by one of the most gifted riders you'll ever see.
James Stewart totally WFO right now. James Stewart laid down a 49.5. Last lap Reed was a 50.2. That's 0.7 of a second faster. But look what James Stewart is having to do that. He's having to ride way out of his comfort zone. He is absolutely going for it, throwing caution to the wind. He knows the type of rider
Again, Jeff, in the sand pit. You can really see him sliding that bike around.
Watch this replay through the whoops here with James Stewart. As he gets way back, he's just got the throttle hammered. Feet are off, and then that is so close.
But Jeff, watch him in the sand pit here too. Look at the rear end of this bike.
Blows the turnout.
And you know, nobody has attacked that sand corner any harder today than James Stewart. And that's the first time I've seen him actually make a bit of a mistake in there. Now here's Reed, and you can see as we take it wide, there you see Stewart at the top of the screen. At the last time they crossed the finish line, this time.
And because of those mistakes, Chad Reed was 0.3 of a second faster than Stewart. I'm telling you, Stewart needs to regroup mentally. He needs to smooth out, try to use these lappers to his advantage as they start to enter the lappers.
There you see Josh Grant has crashed. He was inside in 6th position. Now Tedesco gets past him, so they'll swap spots. Reed now 6.1 seconds between him and Stewart.
0.2 of a second is not going to get it done, but as they get into the lap riders, like I've always said, it's tougher to be the leader. But I'm telling you, Chad Reed is a smart racer. He has a lot of desire and determination. He's worked so hard for this. Oh, as you see,
it's Andrew Short who's putting on a tremendous fight with Mike Alessi for 4th. Alessi, who was running as high as 2nd earlier, now has slipped back to 4th, and he's got the hard-charging Andrew Short all over him on that Red Bull Honda.
Well, and Mike Alessi really has started to show us some increased stamina and some staying power as he's inside of the top 5 right now. Remember earlier in the year, he'd get the whole shot and he'd be back, make huge mistakes outside the top 10. So week after week, Mike Alessi keeps getting, Andrew Short has stalled the engine.
Oh, what a tough break for Short. Here comes his teammate, Tedesco's by.
Something has happened with the rear brake or something. The rear wheel is locked up. He's looking down. It's got to be a brake. Oh, there it is. There it is, right here. There's a rock right there inside the brake. There he goes. Andrew finally gets the rock out.
No,
see it
still stuck there. Still stuck.
There you go.
There it goes.
Top 10 out of the question now for Short. Wow,
what a tough break for Andrew Short, who hasn't finished outside the top 10 all year. Back and at Anaheim 3, Aaron.
Well, guys, Andrew Short is not the only rider out there having difficulties today with the rocks that here on the track. Kevin Wyndham found himself in the same predicament after 2nd practice. In fact, they had to take the bike, push it back to the rig, and put a brand new sprocket on, because what ended up happening, got caught up in the sprocket, ended up ruining his 2nd gear, so it was an abbreviated 2nd practice for Kevin Wyndham.
Chad, 4.8 seconds between him and Stewart. As this one continues on here in Indianapolis. The battle for the win in Indy. It's a great one. You're not going to want to miss the finish of this section. And there you see Stewart behind him. Reed does a good job. He gets past him. Now Stewart has to get by all 3 of those riders, one of which is Heath Voss, also Andrew Short in there. Here you see Stewart coming through.
And wow, was that a bad lap for Reed? He was at a 51-second lap time. Stewart turned a 49.3.
Stewart big bobble, Jeff, and that cost him again. Just as he gets close, he has another bobble, loses some time, but he is so incredible at regrouping and getting back on pace so fast. Look at that. That bobble should have cost him huge time, but he gains more and comes right back after Reed.
Stewart is absolutely flying. Last lap around, it was a 3-second lead. As they come around this time,
2.1
seconds.
He's on it.
He's on it.
All right, he is on it. Here's that bubble. Watch. Look at Stewart.
And Chad Reed made a huge mistake in the turn right after that. You've seen it on the replay. Now they're close. Now the pressure builds for Reed.
Jeff, you had battles like this with Jeremy McGrath back in your championship days where you know you're number one, Reed. What's going through your mind right now?
Well, I can tell you one thing. It's not a good feeling because you know through the pit board and whatnot and the crowd that he was on the ground at one point. Now Stewart's put on just an incredible charge here, trying to keep his win streak alive. And he is absolutely flying. Chad Reed keeps hitting the lap drivers. You see Bonnie holding him up. Now he gets a mouthful.
Now where did Stewart go? Where did they go with Bonnie in front of him? Over the jump. Stewart tries to get through. Reed holds on as they fly over the double jump. More traffic in front of them as they go into the rhythm section. Nick Way on the 27 is right there. Here comes James. Listen to the crowd. New leader in Indianapolis, James Stewart. All the mistakes, the crash, none of it matters. He's back out in front in the Circle City.
That is just an incredible effort by James Stewart. And how many times do we see him almost come off the bike in his charge back to the front? Now let's see if Reed can retaliate, if he has anything here for Stewart.
Oh man, I thought he was going to run it right up into him. Over the finish line jump.
Here it is. Let's see what they got going through the whoops.
Reed was so good over that single jump earlier today. Took the lead in the heat race earlier. And boy, it looks like Stewart's trying to gap him now, Jeff.
I'm telling you, Stewart is so focused now. He made some mistakes there, actually on the ground at one point. But I'm telling you, he has put his head down and charged hard, and that is an impressive ride. With less than 6 laps to go, he has taken the lead once again.
A 49.2 by James Stewart. The fastest lap of the night. And he goes to number 7, San Manuel Yamaha rider.
And Reed, that last lap around was a 51.4. Wow, that's a 2-second difference. Stewart just on the gas, in total command of this man.
Charges through those whoops. Aaron, an amazing ride by James Stewart tonight.
Oh, an amazing ride by both gentlemen for sure, but this is the point of the race, lap 15, where physical fitness is really going to play a factor. Tonight's racetrack was designed and inspired by Mike LaRocca, the legend himself, but what he did, he said he wanted to make it as busy with as many obstacles as possible. What you're going to notice about this track is that there's literally 0 straightaways for any of these riders to catch a breath and to get themselves rejuvenated to keep on going, so we'll see who's at the optimal peak of fitness at this point.
Chad Reed's not done, Jeff. He's still charging.
Yeah, both riders incredibly motivated. Both riders in great
Here he comes.
position.
Look at this. Oh, I thought he was going to get him.
And I'm telling you,
and Stewart is down. Stewart is down again. Unbelievable. And Reed is back in the lead with 4 to go.
Wow, what incredible energy here. Lucas Oil Stadium hosting their first Supercross event. This stadium has not let us down. Thank you, Michael Rocco. You have put together a great track design.
James Stewart, twice, Jeff, is face down in the dirt. He bounced back the last time and got the lead back. Can he do it now with 3.5 to go? And I got to point out, Chad Reed has been telling you and I all season long, I know James Stewart's weakness. I just got to catch him to pressure him to make it happen. Was that it, do you think?
It was the pressure there. Stewart had to make sure he was right there, and it was this same turn that we're in right now is where Stewart went down, and it was the pressure from before where Reed was out front, and Stewart went down when he was in second earlier in the race. This race isn't over. 3 laps to go, all the way to the checkered flag.
No, you cannot count James Stewart out. If there's still green flag racing to go, he's in the hunt. And that's why these stadiums all around the country are getting packed with fans, because riders like these two putting on such incredible competition. Kevin Windham has had his problems here tonight too, Jeff. He has had major issues, and he is out. But the big thing tonight, Jeff, we talked about it early. If James Stewart crashes, he loses. And here's the problems he's had here tonight.
Let's take a look at the first one. This is where Chad Reed was out front. You see Stewart loses traction in both tires. Clips a tough block. Goes through the whoops, speed comes off. He grabs a handful of throttle, stands it up on the rear tire. just incredible. Now another small mistake here where he almost dumps it in the sand. This is with the lead. Looks like he's got it in the bag. Couple laps later.
That was a weird one too, Jeff.
Just kind of cased out, and it stalled his momentum. Now less than 2 laps to go. Chad Reed has got a nice, comfortable lead.
Yeah,
I'm sure the nerves are high. Explain the type of emotional rush and mental, like this, rush that you get while you're in this sort of battle. Chad Reed,
White flag.
picked the perfect night to have this type of race. I'm telling you, the fans of Indianapolis are on their feet. They are loving it.
And Jeff, this will mean that this championship fight will go all the way to Vegas, even if Stewart wins all the races from here on out and Reed finishes second, because points-wise, it would go all the way to Vegas before somebody can clinch. Just will be up on the opener, James Stewart the next 8, and here we are, Chad Reed trying to get a win for Suzuki.
Well, also, this is the first win for that fuel-injected Suzuki this year.
And don't forget, Chad Reed won the last race in the RCA Dome, and he is on his way to the first win in Lucas Oil Stadium. Chad Reed wins his first race of 2009. And I gotta tell you, Jeff, even though James Stewart didn't win tonight, what an amazing ride by that truly championship-level performance by both riders. The win streak comes to an end. Mike Alessi gets his first podium of the year, and Chad Reed hasn't won since Vegas of '08. But the momentum has changed here tonight. We'll be back to talk to him. Well, there's a world champions banner. We got a couple of champions that battle it out for the win here tonight, and what a battle it was as we go back in our progressive leap replay.
And I tell you, week after week, it comes down to the start. And look here, number 1, our reigning champion, gets the progressive hole shot. That is what changed the whole scenario here tonight, is that Stewart was not in front of Reed.
Stewart does not crash, he wins. Tonight, he crashed twice. Chad Reed's on the top step of the podium. Let's go right down to Aaron.
Well, guys, I don't know if racing gets any more exciting than that, but the sparkle is back in Chad Reed's eyes. Chad, what did this race do tonight, this victory do for your confidence and also motivation coming into the next couple rounds?
You know, it's just, it just shows that you never give up and you got to be in it to win it. And hats off to James, you know, you can't take anything away from him. He rode awesome, and I just tried to stick to him. You know, I rode like crap out front, and as soon as I got in behind him, I rode a little better. But man, hats off to all the guys at Rockstar Makita Suzuki. They've been so patient with me, and you know, I just feel like I've been not pulling through, and James been riding great, and no excuses on my part, you know, and got to be in it to win it. That's my saying this week. I want to thank all the guys at Thor Parts Unlimited, Bridgestone, and Scott.
You have said before that it all comes down to the start, and if you did get that start, you know how to play on James's weakness. Did you do that this evening, and what did you do differently about your start?
No, that's what Ralph said. The way that I know how I can, and I know I got a shot at it if I can. And, you know, like I said, James has been riding solid, and I just don't feel like I've been twisting the throttle enough. And tonight was a lot of fun. The track was real challenging, and I didn't want to be in the back tonight. I wanted that whole shot and go out front.
Congratulations on a sweet victory.
Did I get a shout out from Chad Reed?
Calling you out as we go to Vegas.
Las Vegas, that's where we're going to go to close out this championship. And it might go all the way to Vegas, because the way the points are stacking up, Reed is going to force this one to go all the way to the end of the year. You know, he has 7 podiums now and 2 wins here in Indianapolis. And look at the points.
I like that dash there. That means we're tied for points. 199 each.
Yes. Fantastic. And Andrew Short sits in third, Aaron.
Well, guys, James Stewart having an incredible ride this evening, a wild ride at that, and it did not come easy tonight. James, take us through. There was quite a few mistakes. We saw you on the ground a couple of times. What was the difference, James Stewart, tonight?
You know, the track was just tough. And, you know, man, Chad was riding really good. He rode good in the heat race. Had some bobbles, went down, caught past him, went down again, I caught him again. But, you know, I just got to thank everybody from Samuel Yamaha. That was a fun race. I kind of needed that a little bit. And, I told you this race is going to be awesome. 20 perfect laps from Chad and 20 mistakes. A lot of mistakes from me, but I'm glad to fall twice, still catch them, and it gives me a lot of motivation. But it was a good race. It was all good.
SpeedTV.com has the most comprehensive AMA race.
Makes the podium for the first time in his Supercross career, and he's overwhelmed to say the least. Mike, what a moment for you. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. I just want to thank all the guys again at Rockstar Makita Suzuki. My mom and dad, my girlfriend Danielle, supporting me so much. I love her so much. And the Bridgestone, Smith Goggles, Shark Helmets, just all the family, friends, and all the support. I just really appreciate it. I just had a great time tonight, and this is just above and beyond getting the podium. I was really looking forward to next week at Daytona getting on the podium, but God was there with me this week, and I just want to thank the good Lord Jesus Christ for keeping me safe, and just all the family and friends, and my girlfriend Danielle again. Just thank you again.
Indianapolis is in the history books. Next week is Daytona International Speedway, Bike Week. We'll be there for same-day coverage with Supercross Lights and the Supercross class all on the same show. Should be a fantastic weekend. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from the Circle City, Indianapolis.